ill feeling somehow.
So are we saying that those commissioners resigned because of the political quagmire at the time? Because they didn't say so when they resigned. None of them said they were resigning because of the political situation.
But then you and I know that that was what it is.
Well,
and you see, these things are in public domain. The president is not omniscient. These things are in public domain. So that some people will say, "Oh, but the president would have given full opportunity. You state your own side of the story. State your own side." Does he have that time? And besides, the matters were loaded. Every other person, even every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Nigeria knew the issues. And in fact, the president didn't just wade in. The president was pleaded with. I will not say that. I don't want to use the word compelled to. There were a plethora of invitations to the president, pleading with him to intervene. And the president had all the details at his fingertips.
What about that?
And he came, let me tell you what happened. The president took his time. I've said this before, my friend, 93.3 Shegu. Okay? I told the president, I told Rivers about what happened. Let me also state here. The president took his time, talked about democracy and himself. And I mean, how far he had gone. And like God has given him this, that he will not allow anybody assault democracy. He will not allow anybody fluff democracy and the gains therein and thereto from. He said all that, and then at the end of the day, he said, "Look, Rivers is very, important and crucial to us, and all that. We cannot afford all of this." And at the end of the day, the president said, "I have a proclamation," and that proclamation has the force of law. Proclamation is not like any other thing. This is a proclamation. It has the force of law.
That brings us to this. If the president is holding democracy, and that's what he wants to say, rule of law, we are all aware that the governor has his powers as governor to decide the affairs in his state, especially as it comes to appointments on who to appoint and who not to appoint.
I agree.
And we also are aware, especially with regards to the House of Assembly in the state, where we have the lawmakers. If the president was saying, go back to status quo, does that mean that the members of the House who had gone to the APC would have to come back to the PTP? Or did they leave also because of the political crisis in Rivers State? Was that why they defected? Because they did not state why.
Andrew, asking me 1,001 questions, and you shut me out. And you shut me out. Now, let me say to you, and I'm sure every student of history and politics will know that every war, whether it is Cold War, or Hot War, or Warm War, ends on a table. That table is a table where they say, look, you drop part of your excesses, I drop part of my excesses, and have a middle ground. And that middle ground is called the truce. All right? Now, the president feels that, look, nobody in this whole thing should be victimized. Even the governor said so.
All right, Chief, just a minute. Let's take a very short commercial, and then we continue from here, please. News 29 minutes past 8, and my guest, Chief Tony Okocha, Chairman Rivers APC Caretaker Committee, still with me in the studio. My name is Ifeemi Andrew, and it's getting really interesting, the conversation, and I'm sure you have plenty of questions to ask and contributions to make. We'll get into all of those. But first, let me remind you, use the WhatsApp number 0809 030 6416. Would like to hear from you. Send your questions and contributions to us on WhatsApp. You can also do the same on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH and on X, Nigeria Info PH. Now, quickly coming back to where we were before the commercial, we were talking about the situation at the State Assembly, the lawmakers, and you were trying to make a point and explain that the particular conflict in all of that for some people now. Because some people have the idea that if the president is holding up democracy, if you're saying everything go back to status quo, are these people coming back to the PDP? That's one. And then people also have the grouse with regards to the constitutional provision of vacating your seat if you defect to another political party. And the PDP at the national had also even looked at that. So if we're going back to the norm, shouldn't those lawmakers come back to their party, or stay in the APC but vacate their seats?
No, okay. Let me create a background to this. Now, the law, the constitution, which is our ground norm, recommends that when you find, it recommends what they call cross-carpeting on the floor of a house, or whatever you want to use, cross-carpeting or defection. But in this case, it was cross-carpeting. They have moved from the party that brought them to office, and they have, gone to align with another party. Now, is it allowable? The answer is yes. And jocularly here, I've asked you, the word cross-carpeting is not an Ikorean language. It is English. And it's in our lexicon.
Do you go with what the benefits you got while you were in the other party? Because now that's a conversation.
Yes.
But the Constitution, the law has its
the law says that if you're able to establish irreconcilable crisis in your party, that you are at liberty to leave.
Emphasis on irreconcilable.
Yes,
so
please.
the PDP says there are no crises in its party.
How will they agree that there's crisis? If PDP hemmed together in 2023, maybe or maybe not, PDP may have won election.
What are the stipulated provisions for what a crisis should be? Because I know that it stated clearly the leadership crisis that should be in a party to warrant one to leave.
Are you not aware? I don't know if they have resolved now as we speak. Are you not aware that there are litigations over who is the legitimate secretary, national secretary of PDP? National. And when you remove secretaryship and makes it an issue for dispute, in other words, you have killed the conscience. The secretary is the conscience of any organization. That's why they say he is head of secretariat. So when you don't have a head of secretariat, isn't that organization dead? They are still in court. Oh, somebody just hinted me the other day that the man that went out to contest the governorship of Imo State, who lost, had come back and that the court gave him judgment. But has the other man given up? So they are in court. And people are saying, look, this is... And can I ask you a thing? I keep asking people, why were we not crying this foul when in 2015, 2014, lawmakers of the PDP were decamping and cross-carpeting in droves to APC?
But at the time,
a matter that even led to the death of PDP, including the Senate presidents.
Exactly. But
including
at the time,
governors who were elected.
Did we have the provision that says you have to vacate your position that you won, elective office you won in that party
look at other
before you defect?
Look at other provisos now. That one you are saying you have to is akin, more like, because it was for the governors, it was like, you just wake up and say, I don't like this party again. There shouldn't even be a crisis. That was akin to governors. That law was to cure the mischief of what the governors were doing, or those who were elected. See Matawale at the point, who was elected under PDP and he took the mandate to APC. There was no problem. There was no problem in PDP at all. Many other states, it happened.
But for lawmakers?
Yeah, for lawmakers, they call it cross-carpeting. Cross-carpeting. What it means that if you are sitting on this side of the assembly, you are moving to this other side. And now you have shown that there is crisis in your party. And I've said that the assembly members are full with a myriad of evidence to show that the house was in tatters. One American president has said that when you find the kitchen too hot, you quit. They say when the snail finds pizzas in the shells, it changes house. But naturally, forget about we're talking about legislators and all that. Naturally, if you are here now and the atmosphere, the environment is not conducive, what will you do? Would you still remain here, fixated here?
But a lot of people, you will not. A lot of people would say perhaps why the cross carpeting now, or why leaving the party now, when you are aware that okay, this particular issue you are banking on had been on ground even before the elections, during the elections, and you stayed, you won an election on that party.
It has become irreconcilable. It has become irreconcilable. Let me also allude to this fact. It has become irreconcilable. If you were 27, or if you were in a camp of 27, and then there's another camp of 4, and the chief executive of the state yields to 4 over and above 27, is it not in another means of saying, look, people can go, I don't need you?
But then it's questionable because people look at the timing of it. It becomes irreconcilable just when we had political differences.
And you know there's nothing you can
in
do
the
to
States.
change. You know there's nothing you can do to change me. I have harvested them.
Okay.
And I'm saying to you that what they did is consistent with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now another question would be the issues in court with regards to the divide we had in the House, and various parties had gone to court, and there were certain pronouncements that were made by the court at different times that even give some people the position to say, well, they believe that Edison here's faction was recognized in court, and there were other judgments that even prevented the other lawmakers at the time from even going on with any activities in the House, etc., etc. And those matters were still in court. And some say if the president was being democratic, shouldn't he be respecting what the court says?
I would see. You know
so,
what? I will not disdain.
How do we handle that?
I will not disdain the judiciary. I will not. You understand? Because when two people are quarreling, certainly the third person is the arbiter, is the person coming to resolve it, and that's the role that the judiciary ought naturally to play. It is in the contemplation of the man who propounded the principle of separation of powers and checks and balances, Baron de Montesquieu. I'm sure I'm right. It is in his contemplation that these arms of government will do certain other things. Now, when people talk about president not saying that the assembly people should come back and all that, do you want to make them a robot? A man decides, I will not stay in this kitchen that is too hot. And you force him back to that.
But what happens to what
the president is a member of a political party anyway?
Okay,
What has the court said? That the president has said, listen, the governor had analyzed, said it all. He said the president's that proclamation, in the letters and the spirit of it, wasn't a death sentence.
But that doesn't take away the fact that we had the judiciary's position.
All that were contained in that proclamation, those 8 points agenda, as far as I'm concerned, were all constitutional. Don't use local government, caretaker arrangement in local government. Is it? Supreme Court had pronounced on that many times.
No, but for the House.
I'm trying to review the 8 points. Which House?
The Assembly. I'm talking about the cases. Members of the State of Assembly had gone to court.
There are many.
And different orders were given from the court.
So
whether these have been withdrawn.
Which one do we follow? The president said, cautionary maybe, governor, withdraw all the cases in court. And the governor is saying that he's going to implement it now. What are you worrying about?
Okay, so let's wait and see how that plays out.
All right.
We'll come to the phone lines now, even though we still need to talk about the issues of the APC, which I would come to shortly.
Please.
Let's take a few calls and we'll come to the APC, because now, whether the APC is an opposition political party in Rivers State, how it's going to play that role as opposition, it's a big question. For many people, they say
it don't be a question with me.
Okay.
No, with
many people think, I believe that at the moment the minister of the FCT is technically in charge of the APC.
I don't know about that.
Well, you would have to clarify.
I don't know about that.
Well, let's hear from our callers first. 0817 923 0007. There's also 0817-923-0003. And just to add, some people also have said the governorship candidate of your party and those who are loyal to the former Minister of Transportation have also said, well, your emergence as caretaker chairman and whatever the National Leadership Party decided cannot stand because of certain issues in court that should be addressed.
Maybe I should just
it brings us to the judiciary again.
I should just inform you formally that those applications in court have been all withdrawn.
I spoke with Sogbaya Eli, that was sometime last week. Well, he didn't say this.
He's not a party to the matter now. He was not. He wasn't part of the party to the case. I'm telling you authoritatively that even though I'm aware that the issues were not properly put before the court, but they have also on their own withdrawn. So we don't have that kind of grounds anymore.
We'll come to it. JJ is in Rumigbo. Let's start from there. JJ, good morning to you. Let's hear from you.
Good morning to the big chief in the house.
All right, JJ, thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yes. The last statement, Chief Tony Okocha said that Sobe Eli is not a member of the APC.
No, I didn't say so.
No, he didn't say he's not a member of the APC.
I didn't say so.
No, I think you didn't hear him correct. He said it was not a party to that particular issue in court. Yes, that's what he was saying.
Okay. At the APC right now, he is the chairman of the Caretaker Committee, and MK is also laying claim to the chairmanship of that party, and is in court already. The PDP in Rivers State, there is no litigation. Even what I understand by crisis in a party is like what happened in the APC, about when you have the Freedom House having secretariat, then you have the Amechi-led APC also having a secretariat, you have double chairman and all those. The secretary position is not the position to even look at in the first place. And a man cannot eat his cake and have it back. You went to contest, they didn't give you waiver, you came back. So these people have moved from where there is no problem to where there is even multiple problems at the end of the day. Just like the former governor will say, moving from where you have malaria to where you have cancer at the end of the day. So for me, I think we need to also consider the Constitution, because some of these things are constitutional at the end of the day.
All right, JJ, thank you very much. Lugard in the chair, good morning.
Yes, Andrew, greetings from the chair to you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I greet your guest. Chief Tony Okocha, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, the man from the chair.
Look at man, compliments.
Yeah, I want to say, first of all, that Tony Okocha lacks the capacity to speak on behalf of Rivers State APC, despite that he has been nominated as a caretaker chairman of APC. We are original APC members loyal to the Minister of Transportation, former. So for what Tony Okocha is saying today, it does not represent APC in Rivers State. You remember what happened in campaign when he was about to speak, and they booed on him. And today, Tony Okocha cannot have APC. And whatever he's speaking today, he's speaking himself. And first of all, number one question, why must Tony Okocha be in that resolution meeting? Number one. And the lawmakers who defected, you remember, Publicity Secretary of Party, said they are not recognized. They are not welcomed in our party. They did not follow due process. Because first of all, you have to resign from your ward before going to state. And they did not do so. So
all right, Lugard,
that is,
thank
by
you.
The way, the reason to reach with Mr. President and the governor. For us in Rivers State here, we are not accepting that resolution because it is just a coup, or it's just a up against the governor and Rivers people. Can you tell us that the people who defected will resign? That you should call them the 27 lawmakers who defected to All Progressive Congress.
All right, Lugard, your point has been made. Let's go to Mufasa from NTA Road. Mufasa, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to the chief in the studio. Problem of the season, chief.
Mufasa, same here.
Andrew, I want to say that In the course of this discussion, you made mention of the court order that recognizes Right Honorable Edison Eye as Speaker. And your guest said that he would not disdain the judiciary. And for me, it is like a surprise because I know that when that order was given by Justice Danagogo, he referred to that order as a Jankara order. And he cast aspersion on the judge. So for me, it's somewhat contradictory when he said that he will not disdain the judiciary. At the same time, he has forgotten the statement he made about the judge and the order that was given. And lastly, I want to find out from Chief Tony Okocha because he said that the proclamation is the best that ever happened to Rivers State. Now, he as a member of the APC, the opposition party in the state, who benefits the more in this judgment, in this proclamation, because he is speaking from the point of somebody that benefits the most, including the president, because at a point in time, the president referred to this lawmaker who defected to his party and his children. So don't you think already the president has, registered his bias in making that proclamation? So these are the things I want him to adumbrate on. Thank you very much.
All right. Braid in Borokri, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, Braid.
Compliment of the season.
Go on.
Compliment of the season.
Same here, my brother.
Yes. My question is this. Now, at that meeting, Chief Tony Okocha is there as APC Caretaker chairman. Mm-hmm. And we don't have the PDP chairman there. We don't have the Labour chairman there and other parties. Didn't you look at it that the one that gathers there is the former governor? The governor says that the assembly member should look at the budget again. And those people are defected to another party. Automatically, by the constitution, their seat is being vacant. Should the governor present his budget to non-assembly members? And also, you as the caretaker chairman, since you come on board, we have not seen your face at the various boards and the local government. And the political party, for me, you are not even having synergy with most of the leaders. Does it mean that we are not ready to capture Rivers State from 2027?
All right, Braid. Thank you very much. Aaron in Ilele Alimini, good morning.
Yes, in the Namadi, Aaron, yes. Please, let me greet my guest on the studio, please. I think somehow we, the people, are actually pained by that resolution. But we have to still accept and then look at the practicality of some of the items. If you look at the import of that resolution by reason of asking the assembly members to start sitting, you discover that the import is that they are back to the PDP and not APC now. Because if we are restoring to the status quo, it means that they have to go back to their original party by reason of the fact that they cannot sit while they are members of another party. If you look at the law says vacate as we are going. So at this stage, I believe that we have to look at this and ensure that we don't create more problems for ourselves.
All right, let's go to Muriel in Okrika, and we lost that call. All right, let me come to my guests. You've heard most of them, and to add to what he said from the end, it is for many people going to be almost impossible to believe that the FCT minister was a strong PDP member, and not just a PDP member, a strong stakeholder in the PDP in Rivers State, and even at the national level, well recognized, would in his state see a state house of assembly that will have more APC members and says nothing about it or think it's comfortable. Some people think that move there signifies one thing and one thing only, the possibility of the minister joining the APC at some point.
Well, I try to disqualify myself, speaking for somebody else. The reason is that even God, in fact, God in his ingenuity, made it impossible for you to know my other's minds. So I disqualify myself to speak, or rather from speaking for anybody else. Okay. But what I need to say to you is that Nigerians and our people should know that cross-carpeting defection is usually circumstantial. It's on circumstantial grounds.
But the FCT minister at the meeting was okay with the fact that the lawmakers everything will go back to status quo, but the lawmakers will remain in the APC. He was okay with that.
The lawmaker, does he speak for them?
He is in the PDP, and he is technically one of the leaders of the party that they are leaving. So he would definitely have a say.
He's not a member of that assembly. He's not a member of the assembly.
But they are members of his party.
These legislators are not robots. They are not kids. They are all beyond 18 years.
So there was no attempt to resolve the issue.
They think for themselves. How would I know?
In the PDP.
You and I here sitting down would not know. But
Okay.
let me say to you that I have just given you an instance, an example, just a kitchen example. I said, you sit here every day. The day this place becomes uncomfortable for you, you will leave. Will you remain here and die?
If the management sits me down and have a conversation and say, well, we think that we need you to stay, and it is...
No, I said it has gotten to a crescendo, a worst-case scenario. Will you still remain? The answer is that you will leave. And in politics, I've said to you that in politics, this thing is common. It is not akin to our climb. It is not akin to Africa. Even the best democracy that some of us will imagine, people say that America has the best democracy.
Yeah.
It happens there as cross-carpeting. And I said to you that cross-carpeting is in our political lexicon. It was not introduced here in Rivers State. And so for anybody to talk about assembly people leaving and you want them to come back, why are you doing that? When people left National Assembly in 2014, 2015 and they came to the APC, why didn't people call them back? And let me also say to you, anybody here, it's not nice to speak out of ignorance. And that's what I fear. It's what I dread. I don't go close to it. What I'm not certain about, I don't speak about it. So, because that's what they call ignorantio elenchi in Latin. Okay? You're speaking out of ignorance. And please, people should just try. It's a fallacy in logic. Now, who has the power to proclaim or to declare a seat vacant? It is the court. The court has the power.
The speaker would
the speaker will
submit,
give effect.
Yes.
The speaker will give effect to whatever. But let me say to you, there are processes of electing a speaker in the assembly. 2/3 majority of members sitting and meeting elect their speaker. The same process is also what is adopted in the removal of the same speaker. Can anybody from Rivers State or in Rivers State tell us that there was any day, what to make 2/3 now of 31? Will be about 18 or thereabout?
Thereabout.
Yes. Can anybody
17,
tell us
18.
that there was a sitting of 18 assembly members wherein the issue of removal of speaker was?
Because of the time, we can't dwell too much on this. We're already running out of time. Let's get to some of the questions you want to respond to.
Somebody asks who benefits. My friend Mufasa asks, who benefits the more from this proclamation? I have told you that it is the governor. Because he runs the state. And the state has to be, it has to be the highest measure of decorum for him to work. If there's no peace, he cannot work. All right? So if the president said, and true, look, in 2015, we were almost booted out of office.
What about 2027? Is the APC looking at taking power from the PDP in Rivers State?
That is what we are doing. That is what I am doing. My friend.
So I'm sure you're excited for the lawmakers in the APC.
Yes. I have overwhelming majority in the House. Haba. That out of nothing, I have 27 members.
But somebody said that the grassroots...
The person doesn't even know what he's saying. Because I'm sure he's not even a party member. Let me tell him that I was a founding member. Andrew, I've said this here. Remember that I've said it here. I was a founding member of the APC and I have never defected, neither have I been suspended or expelled from the party. If there were two people
even with the revalidation exercise that they had at the time.
I am a founding member. Nobody has suspended me. Nobody has expelled me. I say if there were two people who knew that we were leaving a PDP for APC, it was Rotibichi because I mentioned my boss then. and me, chief of staff, who was in charge of his political desk.
All right.
Every other person will recruit.
We have to go for a commercial now.
The Ogoni Day of Praise and Worship.
Let's get back into it. We already have less than 2 minutes to do this. So quickly, I'll come back to my guest, Chief Tony Okocha. And just, I know you want to respond to a lot, but we don't have the time. With the APC, that's where the conversation is now. Okay. We know that your candidate is at the Supreme Court. There are some people who have questioned your role as the chairman for the Caretaker Committee. Some people have even said you're not a member of the party. How do you respond to those?
Interesting. Well, first is that somebody has also said that it was asking why was Tony Okocha in that meeting. I didn't invite myself. Let me also tell him the reason why I was in that meeting is because I'm an indispensable stakeholder of Rivers State, at least for now. So I qualify. All right? And it's not that I just didn't only, if we were 200, about 7 of us signed. My signature was there. The president specifically called me to come and sign, and I did. Now, the issue is raised. There are a lot of questions here to address, but I can't. I said to you here, I say, I try not to disdain. I didn't say, I said, I try not to disdain the judiciary. The reason I said so is still clear. And I made the instance. I say, when there are quarrels, conflicts, somebody will come into it, and that is the person who is, in this case, judiciary. Now, but when the judiciary does a thing that is bad, we will say it's bad. I refer to an order, an executive order, compelling the president, compelling the governor or whatever, to pull down the assembly, an edifice built with taxpayers' money.
You said no structural problems.
No, but again, he got it wrong. Believing that pulling down that structure, you would have hand-tied or twisted the assembly. No, the structure is not the assembly.
No, the commissioner, the statement did not say it was because of the assembly. It said it was for structural defections after the incident. An architect even had gone to look at it and said that was the problem.
If you would do that, and we are sane people, we are not insane people. People inhabit there, you won't give them notice.
But the offices were not destroyed, if I remember correctly.
What was it?
The complex is there. We had the Hallow Chambers, which was what was brought down that we saw. We know that the offices at the back and the rest were still there.
My dear Andrew, I'm sure that I would not
have any
so
time
what I would just need to say to the governor and to say to all of us is that he should be ready for a stout opposition from the APC. We will take over the reins of power in Rivers State. Because again, there's nothing happening in this state. For over 6 months,
and finally,
been there.
And finally,
that's nothing. What we get here now is crisis and ethnicizing issues in Rivers State.
And the FCT minister has no concern. He's not joining the APC. There have not been any conversations or suspicions, or there's not been any way to lobby him to come over. Now that we have,
I have done so. I have wooed in public the FCT minister to come out of Macedonia and help us. We need him in the APC. But as we speak, that man is dean of politics, practical and theoretical politics in Nigeria. He is dean.
All right. Chief Tony Okocha, time will not allow us. We have to go for the news already, 18 past that time. Thank you very much again. We hope to have you more often.
Please call me.
My name is Ifeami Andrew. Let's go for the news, and we apologize for the news coming 2 minutes behind schedule.